Hello YouTube, this is Dr. Sola coming to you from Asheshe in Ogun State. So I did this video earlier and I'm going to redo it. The reason I'm redoing it is hopefully there's more stability and my hands are not shaking as much. So this has been anticlimactic really. What took us the most time was running all those cables. But once the cables were run and the system connected, guess what? There was no stress really. We've tidied up a lot compared to the last time. We still have the communication cables we're going to hide in the trunking that's behind. These we'll put in a tray. You see there's a lot of spaghetti here. We'll put it in a tray and then we'll tidy it up. We've covered our EPS power box. So let me compare this installation to the one we did. The other big one we did that had 50 kilowatts in solar panels and 90 kVA in inverters. So it's 8 times 9, right? So 8 times 9 is what? 8 times 10 is what? Minus 8, 72. So it's 72 kilowatts. We had 72 kilowatts in inverters on that one, whereas here we have, right now we have 150 kilowatts in inverters. We're missing this one, Tajex, please, and this one. So how does it compare? If you recall, when we turned the system on at the other site, we ran into some issues. We had cables, battery cables. First of all, the initial issue was we couldn't get the battery to communicate with the inverter. Remember, we had 24 or 25 pylon tech batteries, and we had to, in order for it to communicate, we needed a hub. So the hub would not communicate with the inverter. That was the first one. Second issue we ran into is once we powered up and we finally figured out the hub issue, that took us 2 or 3 days. Once we figured that out, our cables overheated because the cables that we had at the time were not thick enough. So we had to go 9 by 70 mm on each pole. So 9 by 70 mm on the positive, actually sorry, 8 by 70 mm on the positive, 8 by 70 mm on the negative. So let's look at this here. Here, each inverter has 4 batteries, and the master battery has the BMS and it manages just those 4 batteries, nothing else. It communicates with this inverter. It's that simple, nothing else. But guess what the fun part is? Look at how thin our cables are. Okay, they're not worn. Do you know why we're able to get away with it? The reason we're able to get away with it is because we're running much higher voltages. So let me show you the voltage we're running on these 4 batteries. Battery voltage. Give me a second. What do you see there? Can you read it? That is our battery voltage, 486 volts. Like you see, 0.0 amps because our batteries are full and our PV is powering this directly. So on each inverter, we have about 20 kilowatts in PV, which is 2 kilowatts more than the manufacturer suggests we put on the inverter. And we figure we'll never get to 18 kilowatts. Very rarely are we going to see that number. But if we see 16, we're very happy. And I doubt it very much we'll ever get to the point where we see 16. Unless the batteries are completely drained and the load demand is high, then we might see that. So this inverter right now can charge and discharge 30 amps. So multiply 30 amps by 480, that's what it can do. And this is 15 kilowatts. So that's the first thing that is the big difference between that installation and this one. We've only done one firmware update, and that's it. We don't need to do another one. Actually, we'll do another one for the generator function. That's the last one we'll do. So you can see here, this inverter is only managing 4 batteries. This inverter is only managing 4 batteries. And as you can see, we have 3 strings. So this is we have 3 strings. Remember before, we had all this stuff, and it was just very confusing. What each inverter is managing or what's being managed by each inverter is right next to that inverter. So I can see it here. Same thing for our AC. This for our AC in and our AC out. This for our PV in and for our battery. That's it. It's not overly complicated. If you recall, for the other one, we had to build a bus bar. We had to do a bus bar to connect our batteries, and then we had to take that. So each inverter connected to that bus bar, and then from the bus bar we connected to our batteries. It was just too much stress. Actually, we had 2 of them. We had one that had all the battery positives coming to it and then all the battery negatives coming to it. And then from there, we ran it into the back of the battery enclosure, and then we ran every 2 batteries into a bus bar in order to allow us to get the system to work. It was just too much complication here. We don't have to go through all that. Very simple setup, boom, you're ready to go. What else? One of the things we have observed, by the way, if you're not subscribed, please click the subscribe button. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. And also, if you want to make comments, feel free to make comments below. So we've run this since Friday. Sorry, the battery just died on it. We've run this since Friday. And the first day we had a couple of faults going on, and part of it was because they were connected to the construction site and they were welding, and the welder was shutting our system off. We don't have that issue anymore. What did we do? We disconnected the site that had the welding machines on, but when you have overloads on this, unlike on the other system we installed, once the system powers down, guess what? Within 3 seconds, it comes back on again. So you get a little fault, EPS overload, our contactor snaps, and then snaps back on again, and our inverters reconnect. That is something we love so much. We don't have to worry about waiting so long for the system to come back on. I mean, it was beautiful. Within 3 seconds, even the people that were being powered did not notice the lights had gone out. So that's one thing we enjoy about this. Our biggest challenge right now is air conditioning. They're going to put it in. This room is hot. I mean, this room is very, very warm. And when you touch the inverters, they're warm to the touch. So other than that, you know what? It's been a pleasant anticlimactic experience. We'll be tidying up our cables. We'll put a tray here. We'll put actually a tray that will be angled at 90 degrees to manage and hide all these wires that are here. Okay, so that's it. It's not rocket science. It's not overly complicated. It was something very simple. We got it done. I'm happy. The client is happy. Right now, Bam, could you touch that so we see we're powering? Touch this. So right now we're doing 4.7. So 5. No, it's fine. Just leave it. 4.7. Leave it. 4,700. 5 times 7, 35. 5 times 4, 20. So this is 23 kilowatts here. 5 times 2, 10, 5 times 1, 21. So we're pushing about 44, 45 kilowatts into the hotel right now. And the batteries are still full. Today there is sun. Yesterday there was nothing. Okay, so I think it's been on since 9 a.m. We think we can run this till, who knows? We think we'll run this till maybe 9 p.m. today. And then we'll tell them to turn off. And then tomorrow we'll start again. So if you like what you see, give me a thumbs up. If you're not subscribed, please click the subscribe button. Once again, by the way, that system that you see the cables is not connected. Once again, this is Dr. Sola coming to you from Omnia Hotels in Asheshe, Ogun State.